And we are live with another episode of Comic Talk. It's that show brought to you by The Key, where we talk about this week's new comic book releases. New DC comics, Marvel comics, indie comics, they all come out on Wednesdays. And we are here on a Thursday, just like 24 hours later, Thursday, November 14th, 2024, to talk about all the comics that we read this week. I'm your host, Dimithri Perera, and if you're watching us live, you're watching us on twitch.tv/The Keeg Show or youtube.com/The Keeg Show. Or maybe you're listening to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. But however you're digesting us, let us know you're out there. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, write a review, do your thing. Let us know you're out there so we can say hi. And, you know, if you want to throw up some questions, we'd be more happy to talk about those topics. Who are we? I already introduced myself. We also got Ethan, aka Virgo Blade. Ethan, what's up, man? How's it going? Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm pretty good. It was a really good week for comics, I must say. I kept going back and forth about my number one pick, and I'm still not sure that I decided. But yeah, it's a very difficult decision. But yeah, it's been good.
It was a really good week for comics, and like too good of a week, I think.
Yeah, an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah. And so, like, I'm happy, but I was telling you guys earlier, could I have reached my limit? You know? Could I have read any more than I read this week? I don't know. I don't know. But we'll see how much that is. But I'm glad to have you. I'm glad to have you on.
Thank
I
you.
always am. And We'll talk about what we read in just a second. We also got Aaron, aka King Krakoa. Aaron, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on? Doing good. Just y'all agreeing with what you guys said. It's definitely been like a plethora of comics this week that I've been highly satisfied with. So yeah, I'm ready to get into it and talk a little bit.
I don't know whether I've asked you guys this question, but when you guys get your comics and sit down to like read them or whatever, how do you decide what comics to read first? Is there an order to it?
Well, I personally I go from like least favorite to most favorite. So I usually start with Marvel, no tea, no shade. But then I'll usually do like single characters. So like this week was like Psylocke, and then like work my way up to teams. And the same thing with DC. I'll do the solos and then I go to teams.
Yeah, I think that's about the same for me. I go from like the ones I don't care much about, and then I work my way into it. Unless there's like a big comic that like I've been waiting for, then like it kind of goes from like go with the flow, see what pops up next, and then we work from there. But yeah, I agree with Ethan. I usually just like go from the least ones because I know like after I read my big ones, I'm going to be very least. I'm not going to be enthusiastic about reading the rest of it. So I'm like, let me just start off and read what I got to read so I can give my present for myself later.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I because I'm on the show, every single week, versus like, a couple of you guys who are here like every month, or like once a month. I think what I read is like, I read the bigger ones, the things that I'm more excited about, or like the things that have more hype around it. I'm like, well, I gotta get it done.
Yeah.
So I have to make sure that I at least read that first. And then I'll end up reading, as much as I can, my favorite stuff, and then just kind of work my way down. DC and X-Men are like my tops, right? So I'll probably read an Avengers a little bit like towards the tail end, closer to showtime.
Right.
But like, I tend to skip the harder reads, the ones that are more cerebral with a lot more dialogue. I'll skip them and I'll come back to them later if I can. So like Green Lantern 17 had a lot of dialogue. I did not get to it this week, at least for this show. I'll read it over the weekend.
You'll be very happy with it. I won't spoil it, but I kind of wish that you did read it. I understand that you didn't, but because I'm hyped about what happened.
Okay, I skipped it because of the dialogue. I was about to skip Amazing Spider-Man 61 because of the dialogue, but I'm glad I pushed through because I opened it to the first page and I'm like, I can't do this. When you see the first page and it's just like all this text, it's just like, I'll do it later. It becomes homework.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like Green Lantern 17 is dense, but I will say that like it was definitely worth it. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you could spoil it on on this show and whatever. That's what the show's for. But before we get going, let's get through what our reading lists were for this week. Because there were a lot of comics and we can't read everything. So hopefully, I think we had a good overlap and then, had some that only we read. So who wants to go first?
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, you want to go first?
I'll go first this time. Yeah, let's do it. So the picks I have for this week were Uncanny X-Men number 5, Action Comics 1075. Let me see. Venom 39, Deadpool number 8, Batman and Robin 15, NYX number 5, Captain America 15, Psylocke number 1, Venom Wolverine number 3. What am I missing? Oh yeah, Black Lightning number 1. I read a little bit of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Nation 2 number 2, but I didn't get to finish it, unfortunately. Witchblade number 5 and Minor Arcana number 3, and Ultimate X-Men number 9. Sorry.
Okay. I mean, that's a good list. Did you read Absolute Batman number 2?
I didn't.
Oh,
it wasn't. Didn't seem like my jam.
Did you read number 1?
A Batman solo. No, Batman's not my jam. I have to be.
It's fair.
He's cool for some kids, but
I'm
he doesn't go here.
I'm digging the Absolute line right now. So
yeah.
I mean, we just did an episode over the weekend, talking about the first 3 issues or the first issue of the 3 titles that are out right now, and so I mean, I have my thoughts. I know Ethan has his thoughts.
Yeah, I really love Absolute Batman, and weirdly, I think I'm enjoying it more than the main Batman. And I think I mentioned it before, but like I'm more of like main continuity than alternate continuity. Like I don't immediately gravitate towards like the ultimate stuff. But with Absolute, it just feels different because it is like ingrained in main continuity, which also opened my mind a bit.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
You're just saying because it came out of like the DC All-In special.
What is it?
Right. Yeah. Because it's like because it just feels like they're eventually going to collide because one universe is like not ruled, but it has the energy of Superman, and the Absolute universe has the energy of Darkseid. So it's like everything in the Absolute universe, it kind of like turns towards darkness. So it's like the heroes are underfoot and the villains are stronger. So it makes an interesting dynamic, and so the conceit is very compelling, and also it is very like more like political as well. Like all the heroes like are delving deeper into like their actual like social identities on like in a deeper context. So yeah, I'm kind of enjoying the Absolute line. Not every title more than the main title, but they're definitely like at the top of my list. Like because there's been Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, and all of them have been bangers. So I definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
So is it like an Ultimate Universe kind of thing that's happening with DC? I'm sorry, I have no idea what Absolute is about.
Yeah, it's kind of like DC's Ultimate Universe, but a little bit different.
Huh?
A little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you guys kind of have me intrigued to see what this is about. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea what this universe is.
At least try like Absolute Batman number 1. See how you feel, just because like it's almost like a deconstruction of Batman. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is the regular Batman. It's like he's like broke. That's number 1. It's like his mother is like a social worker. His father was a teacher. And so it just feels like, yes, he's Batman, but he's more ingrained in the city in a more kind of like raw and realistic way. He's not like a billionaire living outside the city. He like lives inside the city. He's like friends with his rogues gallery. It just takes a different spin on it that really feels like the Batman for the modern age in a way where he's just very like socially aware. He's had like 20 different jobs like we've all had. Like he's it feels like he's earned it more because like he wasn't able to just after his parents got killed, like he then is able to like globetrot around the world and do it. Like no, like he had to like play the game of life, you know. So it does feel like if you have any ill notions about Batman, this does feel like it's a deconstruction. So if that helps, I say give it a shot.
Question
y'all
for
are
Ethan.
about to get me to read a Batman comic.
Sorry, Aaron.
I'm Team DC. I was raised. My brother raised me.
I'm really upset.
Like Batman fan. So it's like not that everyone has to love Batman, but like I see him for who he is. I get why people feel a type of way about him sometimes, but I feel like I know who he is underneath the cowl.
Yeah. So quick thing is that Carrie the Friendly Ghost, first time chatter out there on Twitch chat, says that they liked Absolute Superman the most of the three. I think both what we had talked about, by the way, anyone out there who wants to check out the Keeg Talks Absolute DC, it's our most recent podcast episode, right before this one. Check that out on all podcast platforms. But we talk about all the titles and how great they all are. Real quick, because we fell out of order, and the order doesn't so much matter. But I do want to know your list of what you read, then my list, then we'll get back on track with Absolute Batman #2. You know, who knows? Maybe it's someone's pick of the week or not. I don't know. But Ethan, what's your list?
Cool. So my list is Psylocke #1, Uncanny X-Men #5, Black Lightning #1, Action Comics 1075, Green Lantern 17, and Absolute Batman issue #2.
Awesome.
That's my list.
Awesome. My list is Uncanny X-Men 5, Action Comics 1075, Ultimate X-Men 9, Deadpool 8, Batman and Robin 15, NYX 5, Psylocke 1, Black Lightning 1, Absolute Batman 2, Amazing Spider-Man 61, G.I. Joe 1, Batman Dark Age 6, and DC vs. Vampires World War V #4. So, however much that was, I think that was my limit. I don't know whether I can read any more than that. But question, Ethan, what was your pick of the week this week?
I knew you were going to ask me. I'm torn. Like, a part of me wants to say Absolute Batman because it has been just like such a like refresh, and it's like I don't want to say better than I expected because like Scott Snyder rarely like misses. It's like he to me is a very consistent right. I like his style. It's like he takes a big swing, and when he hits, it hits very hard, and that's the enjoyment about it. At the same time, I kind of want to give love to like Black Lightning #1 just because I need to support it. So I like because I feel like everyone's gonna say Absolute Batman, like that has the hype already. But it's like, you know what? Let me shine some light on Jefferson Pierce. So I'm gonna choose Black Lightning because I do have a good reason as to why. It's because I feel like a lot of like comics post Absolute Power like aren't really making me feel like I'm understanding the DCU and like the effects of like the whole meta-human issue of like some have gotten stronger, some have gotten weaker, some powers have switched. And like Black Lightning is addressing that. And like I'm a very much about like world building. And Black Lightning feels like it's ingrained in this world in a way that like I haven't really seen from other comics. They kind of have been like, yes, it's like a reset in a sense, but at the same time, like Absolute Power just happened. And like it starts with him like dealing with that and his family and what happened to his girls. And I'm like, this feels like it's like, hey, this event happened, and then Black Lightning's happening, and then it also feels like it's going to transition into Justice League Unlimited. So Black Lightning's doing things that I'm not really seeing other comics doing. So I'm gonna give props where they're deserved.
Yeah. I mean, I really like this issue for that reason, because the new normal of the DC universe is a little bit different with the Justice League satellite, or the Watchtower, should I say, and like everybody kind of being set up there. Teen Titans kind of covers it in their first like issue back in the All In initiative, and a couple of other comics have been slightly touching on it. The biggest one that touches on it is the DC All In special, which I feel like a lot of people must have skipped, but
I think so.
I thought it was a must read.
It was so good. It like, because I kind of thought it was going to be like, another like mini event thing, but no, that thing cooked. I was reading, I'm like, Darkseid did what? With who? With Spectre?
Yeah, I'm used to. Here's the thing. I'm used to back in the day, crappy comics being like kind of like they rush a comic out just to do like one shots, or like to do like a quick tie-in, like an issue 0. Back in the day, I feel like an issue 0 was just a very quick, cheap made comic that they just release. But now it's like, oh, it matters. It'll probably, it'll be included in the trade paperback when they compile everything. Great. But I think that deals with like the new normal of it. But like, you're right, Black Lightning #1 really does. And Jefferson Pierce, I don't want to confuse him with a street level hero, because he's not Daredevil over in the Marvel side, just in the street doing the thing. He's a Justice League level like hero. Right. But I guess by being street level, he's a man of the people.
Right.
And that's, I think, what
and like, that's why he's so vital.
Yeah. And like, did you guys like the Black Lightning show?
Yes.
When it was good, it like when it was cooking, it was cooking.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like, I think it.
Yeah, it had its drops.
Yeah,
but but it was good though.
Yeah, it definitely, like, it never dropped so low to where I'm like, oh, this is trash. And I feel like its high moments were like super good. Like, I feel like it kind of had like a down, up, down, up, down like situation with it. Like, I just remember, what's his name, Khalil, when he came in, I feel like that was fire. And then Wayne Brady, weirdly enough, like that storyline cooked. I was like, oh, this is like giving me Black Panther levels. I'm like,
I forgot about Wayne.
I forgot about Wayne Brady also. Also, I never finished the final season. But like, I remember them trying to make Khalil have his own show. Like, they were, what was his name?
I don't remember his
Painkiller.
Painkiller, yes.
Yeah.
Painkiller. Yeah.
It's giving Killmonger, and
it was good, and I thought it did give a little bit of Killmonger vibes, but it could have been a good, legitimate show for at least like a 2-seasoner. Like I think it would have at least lasted like a good like 2 seasons. But then they just like dropped it. But I still think about it from time to time.
Yeah. So little known fact. Wait, why am I forgetting his name? The actor who played Black Lightning. Why am I forget the guy? He went to my college. Like, he's an alumni of my college. And he comes by every so often for like alumni events, but I haven't met him in person.
Cress Williams. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, just a little thing.
DC connection.
Yeah, right. Anyway, back to this comic though. I liked it. I don't know. Yeah. You're right. The world building is really good in it.
Yeah, and I also like how
I very much agree.
Yeah, how Jefferson and Superman related to like being a leader as being a principal. I like love stuff like that when they like bring in their personal lives and how it like works with their superhero lives, because I think some people create this like very kind of like bold
Yes.
border between those two things. And I feel like Jefferson would have the respect of Superman in that regard, and he would know Jefferson on that level to be like, you must understand what I'm going through as well. Like he sees him as an equal because that's just who like Superman is as a person. And so like I love those personal moments between
Right.
heroes. That's what I live for, and that's what helps with like the like action parts of it. But yeah, I really feel like this is a good like
Right.
bridge between absolute power, then goes to Black Lightning, and then like Justice League Unlimited. And I'm very curious about what his role is going to be in there because the last time I really remember Black Lightning having like a significant role was Dwayne McDuffie's run
Young Justice.
on and so I'm hoping that he is elevated to the prestigious status that he deserves to be.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Sorry, Aaron. I know you got stuff to say.
No, I was gonna agree because Black Lightning was also one of the ones I was gonna pick for my favorites as well, and I do like the way they kind of elevate Jefferson in this way. Like it kind of, and they give him such a perfect position because it kind of utilizes everything that he does, like you said, like his leadership, his working with kids, and also like being a mentor to them. But I also like you said, the personal relationship that he has with Superman and the way they talk to each other. You can tell like he talks to him on a personal level, not just a just a hero to a lower hero, but someone as his equal that he sees on par, like Batman and everyone. And I kind of like that that they kind of mix in what happened in Absolute Power, like you start off with him trying to figure out what's going on, the aftermath of his from him and his daughters, and then we go into this like him learning how to help these kids. I thought that was a really good like space to put him in. I am very excited to see what kind of role that he is going to play in like in the Justice League Unlimited factor of it, because like you said, like the last time we saw him in like big roles was in Justice League Unlimited and in Young Justice, where he was like they finally named him chairman of the Justice League. So like I'm kind of excited to see what kind of role they put him in, and not just hopefully they don't do the DC thing and just like give him a big shine for a little bit and then sweep him off to the side again. We want more for Jefferson.
Yeah. I do this every time, and I'm not saying that DC lets me down, because I think as a whole DC does get better over time, but it is very much like it's not an up and down like this, and it's not a straight up. It's a right, like it's slowly going up, but there are many peaks and valleys, right? But slowly but surely,
there's some cliff falls.
But like I feel like DC is respecting these heroes a lot with the DC All In, and maybe it's because now they have Absolute DC separate than the mainline DC universe, so they can like respect who the characters are, and then in Absolute show us what the characters could be when twisted. Like you can do the you could be the twisting, you could do the twisted part in in Absolute universe versus the mainline universe. You're like, okay, what are the core things about these characters, So I think that like maybe they're finally showing Black Lightning some respect, right? And so I was happy about that. I want an Outsiders book. I want an Outsiders book that has Black Lightning. Like, I want more team books, because you get more bang, in my opinion, get more bang for the buck in team books. Because, like, 6 characters having a solo title, or all 6 characters together on a team moving that thing forward. So, like, I don't know. It'd be cool to see Katana, Black Lightning, like some classic Outsiders plus some new Outsiders. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be actually dope. I very much appreciate that.
I really like the Outsider stories in Batman Urban Legends, because Duke Thomas Signal had been a part of it, and there was one where like Tim Drake Robin came in, and he's my favorite. And I feel like
Mine
for like
too.
kind of the sideline heroes, because like there's so many characters that like DC doesn't get around to because they tend to go to like the same, even like really good known characters like you don't always get. Like I feel like there's been times where like Donna Troy is absent, Kyle Rayner is absent, and just like these are top tier characters, but they're treating them like they're like D-list.
Thank you.
And so I feel like Outsiders is a great space for those like lesser known but still great heroes to come in so that we can see them. So I would definitely be on board for that.
By the way, I feel like this is the show that would appreciate this. Did you guys hear about the new Green Lantern statue that they just unveiled in Burbank, California, near the DC building?
No.
John Stewart, a 7.5 foot tall bronze John Stewart statue that they just because there's a big statue of Batman, and then it might be next to the Burbank AMC that's right there, because they have one of Batman, but they just unveiled here. I don't know if you can see.
My heart is so full.
Speak.
John!
Yeah, that's a 7.5 foot bronze statue of John Stewart with a little bit of green on it. It's like bronze, and then they put green on it on certain parts.
Has to. He's
I saw
definitely
a little
deserving.
tint of green in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. So far they have 3 statues in that area: Batman, Wonder Woman, and John Stewart. Which is wild.
I love that.
Yeah, that's dope. He's definitely deserving of it.
Right? Before Superman? Yes, Jesus.
Right. That's wild too. I think they're probably waiting for the Superman movie to come out and then unveil that, because that's a big publicity thing.
Yeah, they probably are. But I'll take my wins however I can get them. A win's a win, you know?
No, that's right.
Look here. They're bright as day and black as night. We appreciate it.
That part.
I need to I'm gonna look up where that is, because I mean it's probably like an hour and a half drive from me. Hour and a half maybe. So like maybe I'll go visit it, you know? What
Yes, you should.
Aaron, what'd you pick for your pick of the week?
Oh, so okay, so this one is hard because it was definitely going to be Black Lightning, but you know what? If I have to choose out of anything else, I would have to say, damn, okay, so damn, is it Deadpool? No, you know what? I'm gonna say Psylocke. You know, I want to say Deadpool really bad because I'm loving the L, but
yeah,
nah, it's definitely that. Psylocke, I very much appreciated the story. And like the one, like I always say, like one of the best things that ever happened and the greatest thing that happened from the Krakoan age is the fact that these B-list, C-list, and very much D-list characters got a bump in ways that we never would have suspected. And Psylocke Quanon, to be more specific, has been one of those. And like just getting to see like us getting to know her again, like seeing her pass as the Hand, and also her new man John Greycrow, who I absolutely love. Who would have thought like John Greycrow, a known child murderer,
yes,
would be somebody that I not only like but endear. Like I'm like, oh, he gets her. Like in the way like she talks about him, like the way she said it was that line she said about he sees who I am and he doesn't judge me or something like that. And I'm like, yes, like the way that they just like when she woke up and had a nightmare and almost killed him, and like he was like, oh no baby, it's cool, like we're good, like it's just a nightmare, like in like the way they interact. And I like seeing Quanon as a character, like as a person, like just getting to know her and getting to see like of course like her reaction to the children like getting kidnapped and being used for the MGH growth hormone serum, and
Yeah.
like her like rapid reaction because of that. And like for those that who don't know, like it was like a deep cut like of her like when she lost her child like way back in when. So like of course it hits a nerve when it comes to kids, but like I love that whole story. Like it was a nice little beat for her, and seeing I'm happy to see where she goes with it, and hopefully we get more of her with what is it, John Grey Crow, and like
Yeah.
seeing her like be kind of a hero for hire, low key.
Yeah, she's doing some like good Black Ops stuff. Question for Ethan. Ethan, are you I
Right.
can't remember. Are you into all this X-Men stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been reading like a bunch of X titles,
Yeah.
Uncanny, Exceptional,
Mhm.
the main X-Men title, and I picked up Psylocke as well because she a baddie and I like a baddie.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you read Psylocke?
Period.
Yes.
Oh, okay. What do you
Yeah.
think about this one?
I loved it. It definitely was a contender for top 3. Just because I feel like I liked how dark it was. Like it just felt like
Yeah.
it went to some very serious places, also like internally and externally. And just like the consequences of just like her leaving the X-Men, or like getting kicked out of it because she wasn't like fully there, but also she's like keeping secrets
Mhm.
from them. I like how complicated she is
Right.
as a character, and then also she's just like a straight up badass as well. Like
Yeah.
her fighting technique is on point, and then she's got
Right.
those side blades. She's making people forget. It's like so. It's also like giving spy thriller, and that's like a genre that I absolutely love.
Yes.
So it's hitting like a lot of marks for me personally. So yeah, it's definitely one of my top picks of this week as well.
Yeah. I think the Krakoan age of X-Men did a lot of really great things. One of which was
Mhm.
giving a blank slate to characters so that characters could like be better if they choose to be. Like Mr. Sinister did not. But
Right.
John Greycrow
That
being
part.
being free of his manipulation, being free of his brainwashing and all the cloning and all
Mhm.
that stuff, being free of all that,
Right.
who is Greycrow now? He is a good person. And it's almost
Right.
like
Even
this.
Amal Farouk is a good person.
Is he back to being good? I can't remember because
Yeah.
after he killed Gabby.
Amal. Yes. Like so. Amal Farouk is good. The Shadow King is gone,
Oh, because the
but
Shadow King
Amal
was like a
Farouk is
psychic parasite,
they
right?
right, exactly. And like they kind of like, and I like the story they did with that, like just making it like he had him so young that he doesn't know where he starts and him and
Yeah,
but yeah, Krakoa gave them all like a second chance to just, if you want to be a better person, then you can. You just have to choose it. Like you said, Sinister chose not to.
yeah,
Sabretooth chose to continue to be an asshole.
yeah,
And like, like even Omega Red, like he became a better person. Who would have thought that would have happened?
right.
But like this is the age we live in.
Yeah, I love the idea of mutant solidarity. With Psylocke though. Oh,
Yeah.
another great thing that they did was split off Betsy Braddock and Quenon, right? And like they
Yes.
split them into two things. And the
Yes.
way I describe it is Betsy went on to be a psychic knight, while
Right.
Canon, or I believe it's pronounced Canon, like the W silent. That's what they say on Cerebrocast.
Yeah. Canon.
So Canon
Okay.
goes, and
Yeah.
she's a psychic ninja. Betsy is a psychic knight, and like
Hmm.
I love the idea that they can both coexist instead of being essentially what it used to be, which is a white
Right.
woman's
One thing
brain in the body of an Asian woman. Like it's giving
that
Scarlett Johansson, you know? But
that
opposite. But opposite. That's
that
it's opposite
right.
of Ghost in a Shell
Oh
and
God.
Scarlet. But
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Um my
Oh
only my
God. Yeah,
only
that's exactly it.
my only stickler on this Psylocke #1 is that I like, does the artist know that Psylocke is Asian? Because she's not drawn Asian in this. Like, she's drawn just like any other. She might as well just be
Yeah.
X-23. Like, she looks indistinguishable,
Right.
you know?
I think most like that artist, they draw people's faces generally the same, like in most instances. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's okay to try to like, make defining features with someone. Like, and some people are too scared to do it because they don't want to go over the top with it. But I'm like,
Right.
but you kind of have to when you're dealing with other people's faces. Like even in general, like people look different. Like so you kind of have to, take the good with the bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
But I did like the action in it though. The sword fighting in it was pretty like actual top tier.
yeah. So, it was really good. My pick of the week. Um, I mean, I might as well. Uh, I'm trying to think of Uncanny X-Men #5. I
Take
really
your
liked.
time, brother.
That was good.
You know,
Me too, actually.
a couple of issues in this arc, in this 5-issue arc, um, were like, it kind of like hit low, and I was like, I'm not really digging it. But I thought this issue was really good, almost like they realized it lulled, and then they were like, let's just wrap this up in a good way, and then just like move on from it, because that's kind of what I wanted. I was like, all right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it had a good build up. This, but to be fair, like I'm a really big fan of Gail Simone's writing. Like I love even her kind of like, I guess, quiet or like lulls, because like it's always building towards something. So it doesn't really feel like it's wasted, even with the whole like Sarah Gaunt storyline. Like I didn't know where that was going at first. Like how it connected to like Charles Xavier and everything, but like how it all like tied in together was just very like clever and fulfilling as well. Like Rogue having this like epic X-Men showdown and showing like how powerful she is and how it connected to the little boy at the beginning. It's like that's why it's like I don't mind when things seem silent, because the payoff is so good. And I feel like that's definitely what happened this issue. My one fear though is like with Gambit using his the eye of that serpentine
Yeah,
thing.
it's the other eye of Agamotto, right? Is what they
Yeah.
were trying to say.
Right. So it's like he like used that, and I'm just like, okay, I already had to deal with him dying in X-Men 97. I don't want anything to happen to Gambit in this book, so leave him alone. But everything else I love.
Right,
Yeah.
because they died for real, for real. This for realsies
Mhm.
now, y'all.
Yeah. Like let me have Gambit in one universe, please. That's all I ask.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought this was a good wrap up to the arc, and I'm glad that they're going forward. Past this point. I'm not a big fan of the new kids, but hey, it is what it is.
I like
we'll
them.
see.
I feel like they have potential, and
I
it
like
seems
them.
like
I just gotta get to know them a little bit more.
yeah, and I feel like the next arc I think is going to dig into them a bit deeper, just because I feel like this first arc they were probably focusing on the X-Men that people knew and loved, and so they were kind of in the background. But then they're going to go back to like next issue, they're all like on the cover and saying like who is what are they called, like the endling, like trying to figure out who like the endling is, and one of them might be it. So I feel like they all have potential. Like I don't know them well enough to say, but they look cool, and I trust Gail Simone, so we'll see.
Let's see if Aaron's getting back in on this. Okay. No, he's now Aaron, for anyone watching this, Aaron's in two different things. All right, here. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to report you to Zoom. Don't worry.
Oh, you're a gentleman.
We're good.
All right. The scholar.
All right, we should have that sorted out.
Yeah.
All right, so let's figure out like what other ones really stood out this week. I mean, Ethan, did you want to talk about Absolute Batman #2? Because I feel like we talked about Absolute in general, but like Absolute Batman #2 would have been your pick of the week.
Yes, would have been. This was also a banger issue. I love that it goes deeper into Batman's world. He is this like relentless force of nature going against the party animals. Also love like Agent Alfred Pennyworth and how he's like watching him and kind of like analyzing him. It just feels like a very cool angle. Yeah, this was a very fulfilling read. And I would say it would have been my pick had it not been for Black Lightning, just because I just enjoy, like, it just gives me everything. It gives me characterization, it gives me story. It also like weirdly like keeps it very Batman. And also like my favorite part of this book is his friendship with Waylon Jones, who is Killer Croc, Edward Nygma, Riddler, Oswald Cobblepot, Penguin, and Harvey Dent, Two-Face. Like, I don't think that they're like villains. They're like on the cusp of villainy because like Bruce Wayne kind of knows that they're like shady, but like he's also like using them in terms of just like having information. And so I just love this dynamic because Bruce does have a connection to his rogues gallery, just in like main continuity of like knowing them, and like he does try to like pull them back to the good side as much as possible. But in this one, to see them actually as friends, like playing a game of cards, is weirdly fulfilling. It's like what could have been, because these were like his childhood friends. It's almost like what Smallville did with Lex Luthor, which I really feel like added so much to the mythos in terms of like making it more than this like straightforward like dualistic relationship between good and evil. It's like they know each other on a personal level, on like a brotherhood level, and then it allows their rivalry to be even stronger. That's what I feel about Absolute Batman, is that like his relationship with his villains just seems like there's so much potential to like question like how one goes down the wrong road and if you can like pull somebody back. So yeah, love the issue.
I love everything that you said. I thought this was a good issue. I never want to see these characters turn bad. I don't want his friends to go bad. I don't. I want them in this universe to be just struggling people. And that's as bad as because they mentioned that they all grew up on Crime Alley. Like, Crime Alley is called Crime Alley in normal DC stuff. It's called Crime Alley because the Waynes get murdered there. Like, it's not called Crime Alley until they get murdered. And then in this, they're not murdered that way in Crime Alley. Crime Alley is just called Crime Alley. And that's just the area of Gotham they grew up in. I love the fact that like Bruce like grew up on the streets, right? Like, not as a street kid. He still had his mom, but you know.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like, I don't want them to go full villain, but I do want them to be kind of shady. You know, like I liked how Oz was very like sensitive when like Bruce made that comment, like, what do you mean? You know? It's like, I know that you're like doing stuff, and like I don't need them to go like full like, oh, like monocle, top hat, tuxedo, but I do want them to dabble. Just because it's just interesting that like that tension of like being able to like pull them back from something, or like question them about something, or if they get into trouble and like need Bruce, there's just like a lot of opportunities. But I do agree with you in that like I don't need, because you have Riddler, Penguin, Killer Croc, and Two-Face. We already have those. So it's like we don't need to see that again, but I would like to see it almost in like a more realistic context of like, oh, Oswald has gotten into crime because that was the best option for him in his particular situation. So I feel two ways about it.
After the amazing miniseries, it's a miniseries, right? Of the Penguin on Max. After that, and I won't spoil anything. We're gonna end up probably doing an episode on it another time. But
good.
Like after that, I want the best for this. I want not the best for Oswald, because I like in the show he's despicable, but in this comic I want him not to go down that same path for the sake of everybody, including his own soul. You know?
I feel that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But I like this issue, and it's just classic Batman where they're like, was this in a movie? I can't remember, but like, it's like, where's your ride? We're on it. Like, and like he he has that tank in this. I don't know if they did that in the movie, but
I think something similar happened, but I can't place the scene or the movie.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, was it in Dark Knight Rises when he has to take the plane, the hover plane, the bat plane, the Batwing? Is there something like that, like where he hit it on the rooftop or something?
I think
forget.
so.
It's been a long time.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Also, did you notice the Batman AF? They were just trying to create a meme off of that, you know?
Yes, yes. 100%. And you know what? It worked. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you can sell the story good enough, you can get away with because to me it's comic books.
Yeah.
And like I do like the extreme aspect of it, the memeability of it. I'm like, you knew what you like. He called it like advancing forward or something like that. I'm like, we know what you meant, Batman AF.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he spends a couple pages setting up the acronyms, right? He goes advance forward AF, retreat and regroup RR. So he's like, sometimes you AF, sometimes you RR, and then it goes through that, and then it's like Batman AF. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
That's how you do it. Yeah. That was very good.
I thought, I mean, it was cheesy, but in a good way, I thought. So.
Yeah. To me, it's comic book cheese. It's like it's supported, and it tastes good. Yeah. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Was there any other? I'll talk about Amazing Spider-Man number 61, because neither of you guys read it, right?
Right.
So because not everybody, it was mixed reviews. A lot of people hated Zeb Wells' 60-issue run on Spider-Man, and so this is the start of a new run. This one, at least this arc, is written by Joe Kelly, and it was a good issue, and it sets up what's called the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, and like it's kind of a cool premise, and I won't spoil it, but basically, Doctor Strange had a deal with, I say Cytorak, but some people say Sidorak, the god that powers Juggernaut, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Doctor Strange had a deal, and basically Doctor Strange has to fight the 8 children of Sidorak in order to keep him from like manifesting in our realm. But the problem is to defeat each of them, you have to die to defeat them. So there's this whole like resurrection process that Doctor Strange goes through, and it's like the most painful thing you'll ever experience because you're being stitched back to life every single time. Anyway, Doctor Strange is not Sorcerer Supreme. Doctor Doom is.
Yeah.
And the
is he still that from Bloodhood?
Yeah. So, well, because they're gearing up for a huge Doctor Doom event. So Doctor Doom is Sorcerer Supreme, and what's happening is Doctor Doom doesn't want to do this. He's like, my time is useful elsewhere. So he goes to Spider-Man, and he's like, look, you're the chosen one. I'll give you everything you need. You just got to defeat these 8 children, like, of this god, right? And literally in this issue, Spider-Man defeats the guy, dies, goes to Death, who is Phil Coulson. Phil Coulson is now Death. And yeah, there's basically, long story short, Death became an Infinity Gem, and the Infinity
I saw that.
Right, so the Infinity Gem is now under Phil Coulson, and like it merged with him, so he is Death.
Like the other gems. Got you.
So anyway, Spider-Man does that, and then he gets stitched, and the art is really good by Ed McGuinness. He gets stitched together, the bone and the muscle and everything, and he is in horrible pain, and now he has to do it again. So I thought it was good. I don't know if people want to return, but a fantastical return to Spider-Man. It is very fantastical. Hop on Amazing Spider-Man 61.
Sounds interesting. I'll give it that. Like, it sounds like a refreshing, or at least like different take on Spider-Man. So I can see how it can probably be like divisive. between the fans.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it can't be more divisive than Zeb Wells' run. So, you know.
Yeah, I know that's right.
What else are you guys itching to talk about?
You know, I'll talk about the NYX #5 actually,
We're just hitting
because
all
it
the
was
X-Men
actually pretty
titles
right. You
without
know,
like, yeah.
that was one of the last, and honestly, that was one of the last things I read. I liked it. Like I like the fact that like first and foremost, I am a very big Stepford Cuckoo's fan. Like Stan, actually. Like I live for those five girls, and like the fact that they're getting a big shine, and where like a lot of people don't like the fact that they when they're used as different people or different entities, because their whole thing is there are five different aspects of one person merged out of into five people,
Yeah.
which is cool, but also these girls have grown up as a whole singular person, and we're and like seeing Sophie like branch out from the five and one, and like start out as a double agent for like trying to betray Kamala, and then work her way into like being her best friend. I'm a cheese ball for that kind of storyline. Like I'm like, oh, the person like you just she convinced you into being good, and like now you're a better person. But I do like the Wolverine aspect of it. And the villain that they're fighting, the Krakoan, which is like a deep cut her ex boyfriend from New X Men.
Yeah.
Like I love that they're using Hellion again. I always liked Hellion, and like the fact that they use one of his titles in the beginning of it was he was supposed to be Cyclops, which was kind of true. Like they kind of groomed him to maybe possibly become like a Cyclops, and then they just did nothing with him. It was Danny Moonstar all over again. But no, like I like the kind of way they kind of have like the younger kids going against the younger kids, and it's more so going back to like X-Men stuff. Like you understand why they're doing it. It's a stupid reason, but like you understand. I mean, they're going about it, stupidly, but you understand why they're doing it. And like I want to see. I always like. I hate Empath like with every part of my being, but he is always interesting to see when you put him on the page, like just seeing, because you know how creepy it is, and like even the nature of his powers is to take advantage of people. Like in other like stories, he's literally taking advantage of people, but like it's always funny to see how he's doing it, because in through the stories you never know if he's influencing everyone, or if this is just everyone just acting on their own accord. And it's with characters who you don't know if it could, because it's some characters who could easily like have been affected by what happened to Krakoa and been like, no, forget the humans, we're going to stick with the mutants. Or it could just be like, oh, he just amped them up a little bit and now they hate them. So like I'm interested to see where it goes, in like surprisingly not hating the Kamala Khan being a mutant thing.
Yeah.
Like
It
not like
works.
yeah, it works.
It
Like,
works.
like it wouldn't be my first choice. It's still like, like it's still some off moments, but I still absolutely love her learning about it and like immersing herself into it.
I think the big thing about Kamala Khan being a mutant is that like I don't need her to be an Inhuman because I don't like the Inhumans.
Mm,
And I did think like, oh, wouldn't it be like they should have just had her be like a science like a science experiment gone
sample.
wrong in
Yeah.
the same way that like Miles and Peter and everybody have.
Right. The Fantastic Four and all
But
them.
and I don't know, and I mean they're kind of touching on it. I like the idea of intersectional communities, right?
Yes.
Like because the general idea is that you're either this or that, or you're in this group,
Right.
not that group or that group. But the rather you can be part of many different communities,
Right.
and the fact that they are touching, like since she became a mutant, they have touched on the fact that she is
a lot of different
a
things.
lot of different things.
Yes,
At the very
that's one
least,
thing I
from
appreciate.
New Jersey or in Krakoa, right? Like
Right.
Krakoa versus Jersey, But is it necessary? It depends on
I think so.
depends on the stories that they're telling, and this has been good. Though I think, in my opinion, this issue number 5 is one of the weaker issues of of these 5 issues. I was just like,
true.
Whatever.
I'll definitely give you that one for sure. Like I for sure agree. But I think it was a smart idea to do it because we never get an intersectionality comic, at least not for long. And I love that they're like really digging into this we got a little bit of it like with Franklin Richards in the beginning of the Krakoan era with Fantastic Four and like seeing him travel from back and forth, but like then of course we saw what they did to him, so like we lose that in that moment. But honestly, I like that what they're doing with her. They still like mention her roots in and they don't do what they do with a lot of mutants where because she's a mutant, they shy away from her like actual heritage, and they kind of still embrace it and like not only embrace it, but they nurture it throughout the comic.
Yeah. Ethan, did you read NYX?
No, I don't know too much about NYX. I thought it was called Nix, so that lets you know how little I know about it. But it sounds interesting. Yeah, I'll probably check it out.
It's definitely the series with the young mutants, essentially.
Yeah, it's the young gay comic, and I'm here for it.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Right. That's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what we all 3 of us read, but did we all read Deadpool number 8 or no?
I read it.
I did not.
Okay. I mean, we could touch on it real quick. Aaron,
yeah.
Did you? I like where they're going with this with his daughter.
Yeah.
And
I've been waiting for his daughter to come up like in actual and be an actual part of the comic, like instead of like little cameos. And like I'm loving that we're getting to see her like actually do stuff, and like I kind of wanted her to. They haven't shed light on it again, but I kind of wanted her to be a mutant. Like they never talk back on that. Like that was the whole thing. And like they said she was supposed to be a mutant, and like Rogue was like he asked Rogue to like take care of her when her X gene
is she
activates.
not a mutant?
I don't know. They just say like she inherited her father's healing factor, but I'm not sure if that factors in with it. I'm hoping it does. Maybe we'll see. But I love her working with her sister, and and her getting to meet her dad's ex paramour as they call them, and like we get to see she gets to meet her sister's other parent, I guess.
Yeah. According to marvel.fandom.com wiki, Ellie is a mutant.
Okay, that's all I need to know. I'm gonna take that and run with it, and that's all I need.
And a lot of articles talk about like Deadpool's mutant daughter.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm excited to see what she does. Like, I feel like she can be like, they should put her and Gabby in have her and Gabby go on like a little play date. That would be dope, actually. Honestly, and I feel like Gabby would love the symbiote dog.
Yeah. I also would. I want to see I like it when, and DC does it sometimes too. There's just like in real life, like a kid who's 12 is way different than a kid who's 16, right?
Very
and like they're not going to hang out and create a super team because like they're just developmentally right?
Exactly.
So I would love to see the kids that are all roughly the same age team up, because DC had it with Wally West's kids and
Animal Girl.
Yeah.
Oh,
Animal Man's daughter. They're like they go to like the same school or something.
I love that. I love that.
That's cool, right? Like,
right.
Yeah. I actually have like a whole pitch in my head because I feel like I know how the DC should have gone after, like if the New 52 didn't happen, I feel like there should have been like an order to things. I feel like a new Young Justice should have been made. Jonathan Kent should have been on it. Damian Wayne. You can bring in the Flash kids. You can bring in Animal Girl. Then the Teen Titans would have been Robin, Wonder Girl,
Connor,
like all that, and like there's a step to it. And then after that is Titans. You have Nightwing. You have Cyborg. You know, and then you have Justice League because like there's an order to things.
And then Justice Society.
Yes.
Right.
And then they aged up Jonathan Kent, and there's this like weird gap now between like Jonathan and Damian. And like I get that they're trying to still make them be friends, but it's just like weird now because he's like college age, and then like he's still like in a perpetual like preteen area.
Not to mention those flash forwards at the end of Wonder Woman where him, Damian, seem like they're the same age.
And I'm like, what are we doing here? What's happening?
Yeah, that's confusing.
Yeah. By the way, I like your idea, Ethan. I did a series of videos on TikTok a couple years back, putting together my own teams. I called it Imprint, and it was the capital T for like Titans with the Titans logo. So it was like my Titans imprint of DC Comics, and it had Young Justice, Teen Titans, and like I kind of like made the team, and I like took little images and put them together, and then one of which was like Avengers Academy if it was done right, and then I also put the Outlaws as one of the teams, and I put Supergirl on the Outlaws, and I thought like. You know?
Chihuahua.
Yeah. Okay. So like
that sounds
Power Girl. I honestly love it. Yeah.
And also back then Power Girl wasn't younger. She was like older, so she wouldn't have been on the Titans teams. But you know, I don't wanna plug my TikToks, but
no, go for it.
I think there's a playlist. I'll send it to you guys, but I got like almost no views on it, but I was very proud of it because I made it in I made the pictures and everything. Anyway,
those are always the best ones. No, don't you hate it when those are the ones you like that you feel the most proud of and it doesn't get the most views? I hate it.
Yeah.
Right. Flop.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, well, it is what it is.
It sounds cool though. I'd like to check it out.
Yeah. I'll post it to you guys. Ethan, what else do we got? Well, now we're running out of time a little bit, but Ethan, anything else that you wanted to like really talk about?
Green Lantern 17.
Okay.
This was also in the running. I'd probably say maybe three or two.
Okay.
Just because this was a Hal and John team up. I love them like working together and using their powers together. We also get Star Sapphire, who like just doesn't get enough attention.
Yeah.
And I've been waiting like for this series to like utilize her because she's very interesting, and she's going to be on Justice League Unlimited, so I'm very interested about that as well.
Yay!
But yeah, like I don't want to talk about what happens at the end because like I kind of want you to read it.
Yeah.
But something makes me very happy. Something cute. I'll say this. This has to be maybe like the most epic issue of a single comic I've maybe read this year. Like this has just been escalating into like a space opera like level in terms of just like everything that's going on with like the United Planets and Tharos and like all these different elements coming together. And then you have like the Green Lanterns. And it's just fascinating because it almost started off like insular with Hal Jordan. And nothing against it. Like they're like good stories, but I also feel like we had kind of Grant Morrison's Green Lantern, Hal Jordan for that. Like I do enjoy seeing like the Green Lantern core. And so it's built up to that. And I will say that it's been worthwhile because it's gotten so like extremely epic where like major tragic things are happening. Like with Thanagar, I'm just like, this is feeling like a true epic that I wasn't prepared for, but I'm also very happy that it happened this way because I didn't see it coming. And so this issue is just very epic. The art is beautiful. It's gorgeous.
So good.
Yes. It's like I'm floored. But yeah, it just feels like this is like peak epic tragedy, but beautiful.
Okay.
I can't really praise this enough. This was a really good read, so I definitely suggest it. And then I get my ending that I really wanted, and I'll just say that.
All right, that's cool. I know you're trying not to spoil it for my sake, so thank you. I will be reading it because I caught up, and I'm like, I need to, keep up with it.
Yeah, it's so good.
I feel like for the first time, I feel like DC, not for the first time. It's I know DC can be better, so I hold it to a very high standard because I know that it can fire on all cylinders. But I feel like DC knows what they're doing right now. I really do.
Yeah.
For the sake of this show, we'll get into really quick reviews. It's actually kind of funny because G.I. Joe 1 came out, and that's part of the Energon universe that links with Image Comics and Skybound Entertainment and whatnot. And I thought I'd have more time to talk about it, but we're going to just give quick reviews on everything else on our list. But so many variant covers for G.I. Joe number 1 that I ran out of letters. So, like, normally I label them by name and then put a little letter next to it. But I got to Z, and then I went like Z2, Z3, all the way to like Z12. So it was 26 plus 11. So 37 covers that on the slideshow on the live stream, we're not going to get through. Anyway, G.I. Joe number 1 was really good. The art was amazing. And like, you don't have to be a fan of G.I. Joe. You just have to be a fan of the concept of like putting a team together of people with different skills. So it was like Ocean's 11 meets like military, right? And I think the biggest twist is that Baroness in normal G.I. Joe continuity is a bad guy. Baroness is on the G.I. Joe team, and they just call her a war criminal. They're like, you let a war criminal on this team? And they're like, we're giving her a second chance. And like, I don't know. It's cool. If you either like G.I. Joe or could like G.I. Joe based off the premise of like, this takes place in the same universe as like the new Transformers stuff. So it's like dealing with like alien technology. Cobra has alien technology, and then this like paramilitary organization's trying to stop the bad guys. It's pretty fun. It's pretty it was a pretty fun first issue.
Yeah, I feel like it's not I can't get into G.I. Joe. I don't and I don't think it matters how good the writing is. I just don't think that I like the military army. It doesn't like pull me in.
Yeah.
Like something like Snake Eyes, like give him like a solo or something, I'd probably check that out. But if it's like army, military industrial complex, like that's what's going to be rolling in my head the whole time.
Yeah. Did you not like the Marlon Wayans movie, the one with him and Channing Tatum?
See, I forgot that there even was one.
You don't?
Yeah.
Did you like?
It was good. It was good.
It was bad, but it was good. It was
right.
fun.
I assume for like actual G.I. Joe fans, they probably hated it, but I liked it. It was good. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I'd never seen it.
Okay. Well, it might be worth you just watching just for fun.
Yeah, right. Just a fun.
It's like a fun time. It's like a fun time.
Okay. I'll try.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. All right. So, real quick, we're gonna go through the rest that are on our list that we read. So, just quick thoughts, and we'll move on. We got Action Comics 1075, which is a weekly comic right now. Dealing with the Phantom Zone. I liked it, but I don't need a weekly comic. I don't need.
Honestly, no.
It's exhausting.
It is.
Yeah. It can work. I mean, like the 52 weekly series is like one of my absolute favorites.
Yes.
I enjoy this story. I don't necessarily think that it's necessary for it to be weekly. This was a good story. I enjoy seeing more of Krypton. I feel like now that I'm like older, I weirdly enjoy like the world building and the culture of like learning about Krypton. That's also what's cool about Absolute Superman is that we're getting like more of that. And like, it's not just, this planet that blew up. It's like, it feels like a living, breathing place. And I do like that about Action Comics 1075.
Yeah. I think the last time they did a weekly comic for like Detective Comics, they did it It was called Tower of the Bat, I think. And I
Mm.
got it in hardcover. I loved that one because it was a Bat Family book, like story. And that was a weekly comic for a little bit.
See, I
And I
think
love
that's
that.
the way it works. I think that's how this should work, or action comic. Like if it were to be more so like, because they did still the story with Connor and the other one,
Yeah, Keenan.
Keenan.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I liked him. I read him when he like first came on the scene in that new Superman. But like I do love their dynamic, and I think it would work better if it was just every week is about a different super fast a member of the super family. I think that's
Yeah.
how you push those more, and like it gives them, because that, let's be honest, like at least for me, I've always said, I keep saying it, like Action Comics didn't get better until he started really utilizing his whole family,
Yeah.
like utilizing the
Yeah.
whole super family, not just him and Lois, or just him, Lois, and John. Is going to like Supergirl, Power Girl is finally being included. Connor, like like the stories they tell with them, like that's what makes Action Comics more dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I feel like his greatest strength is his super family.
Yes.
And especially like Connor Kent, such a great
Yes, he's my
character. He's
favorite.
like my favorite. He's got that, TK.
Period. Yeah.
And yes. And I just want to see more of that. And I'm glad that we got that with him, like this issue, but I do feel like I want more. And if it was just a more consistent thing where I knew that I was going to get like super family, that would be a lot more enticing.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, we got to hit everything else as well. Ultimate X-Men number 9. I like this now, but also this issue was kind of weird. Also, Surge is like a little underage escort. I'm not quite sure exactly what's going on in this issue.
Yeah.
It didn't hold my interest too much, but we did get the appearance of Akihiro at the end. Who that was
and we get like I do like the fact that she's very much utilized the Asian characters. I love that
all
we
Japanese
get that.
characters.
It's all right. And like we get to see Shinobi Shaw as the Shadow King, question mark, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
It's Shinobi Shaw? Okay, see.
Yeah, I didn't know until like I had to read the beginning of it because I missed the last issue. But like but yeah, Shinobi Shaw is the Shadow King in this, and I'm like, okay, that's a unique choice, but I'm okay with it actually.
Yeah, I can't figure this series out, so I'm sticking with it though. It used to be that I couldn't figure out the series, so I stopped. But now I can't figure out the series. I'm going to continue. There's a different sense with that. Venom number 39. Who read that one?
I read that one. It was good. Never before would I would have thought that I would see a comic with Venom and Loki, but it was I thought it was a nice little like a nice little team up moment. Like it was a good little Marvel team up moment. Getting to see Loki work with this guy who's in the Venom symbiote, but it's not Eddie. Like I don't know who that guy is. But yeah, that's not Eddie. And he's like trying to get convince Loki to make some kind of hammer or some weapon out of a alloy that only Loki can forge.
Okay.
So like it's been a pretty good one. I'm absolutely like continuously loving the art in it, and yeah, I like that one.
All right, I'm not reading it, so. All right.
Yeah, I've never been a big Venom person until the Black Widow, but it's when I do read it, it actually has legs,
Yeah. Batman and Robin 15. I don't think we covered. Did we all read this one?
I did not.
I read a little bit of it. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Bruce Damian stuff. Yeah. There's some villain out there named Memento. That's all I got.
Yeah. I like him being a parent. Those are always going to be the stories that endear me to Batman. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It was a nice little moment.
I'm a few issues behind, and I think it's because like I'm not fully getting what I want from it. Like I kind of want their relationship to evolve, and I'm not really seeing it. It's not like bad or anything.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's like at a place that I don't find that interesting after all these years. Like I just kind of after like Lazarus Island, I just need more from it. But I'll catch up. Maybe things will change.
Yeah.
I agree. I think the thing that's missing for them is sibling dynamics. We don't get to see a
Sure.
lot of that. Like I
The
feel like
Robins
that's
together.
where yes, like we only get to see like like little bits, but like not even just Robins, like Cassandra, like all of the like the bad girls, like seeing
Yeah.
all of them and how they interact with each other, like especially with like I know like Damien has an inferiority complex with Dick. Like
Mhm.
I mean, like how can you not?
Yeah.
Like so like I feel like that's a like I feel like those are the stories that should be showed, like showing him with all of his family, not
Yeah.
just one son at a time.
We gotta hop to the rest of the
Yeah.
stuff on our list. Just quick sentence, and then we gotta move on. Captain America 15, one sentence.
Nice, cool. I like the Asgardian aspect, like seeing
Okay.
that tragedy. Yeah.
All right.
It was,
Venom War Wolverine number 3.
eh, it was good. It was
Okay.
just it's regular Wolverine comic to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Nation number 2. That was also Aaron.
Surprisingly good, and now I'm intrigued about reading the first one.
Okay. Okay. This one is a weird one. Witchblade number 5. I didn't read it, but like I thought it was
Yeah, didn't expect me to
weird that
read
it
that
was on your
either.
list.
Yeah, right. Honestly, me too. But it picked me up. Like it gave me because I thought it gave me kind of like a. Have you seen the show Grimm?
We don't have time to talk about it.
I
But
know,
no, I
we're gonna talk about it, but yeah, it gave me like a
haven't.
vibe of like magic detective kind of thing. So like I like the vibe it gave. So I might go back and read it.
If we're in the last couple of minutes of this podcast and you're like, have you seen this one show? It's like, we don't got time for this,
Yeah,
Aaron.
we're going to a tangent. You're right.
In
You're right.
1992, there was a show about
Oh, season 3 was amazing. Yeah, go
Power
ahead.
Rangers Prime number 1. That's also Aaron.
I didn't get to read that one. That was
Okay.
unfortunate. I didn't get to read that one. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do
Yeah.
you read Minor Arcana number 3?
Yeah. Wanted more from it. Wasn't what I expected. Wanted more Arcana. Didn't get that. So,
All
but
right.
yeah,
That's Jeff
I was ripped off.
Lemire's Boom
the
Studios
minor.
book.
I,
Okay.
I was ripped off. Maybe I just need to read the 1 through 4. Well, no.
Okay. And then I think the last two are me. Ethan, did you get to talk about everything?
I think so.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Batman Dark Age number 6. It got delayed, but it came out this week. Finally, it was supposed to be like last week or the week before. It was cool. It was kind of nice at the end. There's some tragedy, but it takes place in its own universe where like Batman ages in real time, essentially.
Mhm.
And there's some weird things with it, but like, cool. I don't know. I thought it ended fine. I don't need to go back to it. What I do need to go back to is actually the book that on the promotional image for this episode is my pick of the week. And I kind of forgot about it because it was at the bottom of my list on my computer. DC vs. Vampires World War V number 4. I am loving it. It is a direct sequel to
Yeah, I heard
DC
it's
vs.
good.
Vampires, the first miniseries, the first 12-issue miniseries. In this one, there's a prophesized baby that is born of a vampire, and it's been really good, and people
Blade,
die.
you say?
What's that?
Blade, you say?
Kind of. Basically,
Close enough. Blade, come right in.
he's the it's the son or daughter of Mr. Miracle. So Mr. Miracle is a vampire, but he can control himself. And I think it patches in with the fact that he's escaped the curse of being a vampire, right? Because his whole thing's escape, right? So I feel like that's his thing. Like he's escaped the the pitfalls of being a vampire, and he has a baby. So he's a vampire, and he has a baby that he hides because he doesn't want vampires to eat the baby. Like fair,
of course,
And then there's some prophecies with Constantine and all that stuff. So anyway, I thought it was really good. That was technically could have been my pick of the week. But we don't have enough time to get into the real nitty gritty. But I think we hit everything that we all read this week. I want to thank you guys so much for coming on the show, talking about everything. Real quick, Ethan, where can we find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
So I am on TikTok. I'm on Insta. I'm on Twitter. You can find me on Virgo Blade. just more and more videos. Sadly, the Penguin and Agatha are over, so there won't be more of those. But
Superman and Lois.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I haven't been covering that. Those
yet.
videos, those videos have been doing surprisingly well. So I'm going to continue to cover that. I recommend everyone watch it. So yeah, Superman and Lois videos I'm working on.
Okay. All right. Sorry, did I cut you off or did you have more?
I know. I'm good.
All right. Virgo _Blade, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Aaron, what about you?
Yes, so of course you can find me on all the things. You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram. On Instagram it's the King Krakoa. But other than that, nothing coming up really.
All right, for sure. For anyone out there who wants to follow me personally, at This Is Dimithri on Instagram. But if you want to follow the Keeg on all the social media, we are at the Keeg Show on all social media. TikTok and Instagram are our two biggest ones. I just created a Blue Sky account for the Keeg. Also at the Keeg Show. But we're on Threads and Facebook and all that at the Keeg Show / the Keeg Show, pretty much everywhere, including Patreon at patreon.com / the Keeg Show if you want to give back to the Keeg. Comic Talk is our Thursday show talking about comics every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, on twitch.tv / the Keeg Show or youtube.com / the Keeg Show. Or, for all our podcasts, you can find all our podcasts wherever you get your podcasts from. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, no, not Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, SoundCloud, whatever. We're all over the place. Anywhere you can find podcasts, you can find us there at The Keeg Show or The Keeg Show or whatever. What was I also saying is, go to comicshoplocator.com, find a comic shop near you, support your local comic shops, and also support your local public libraries. You'd be surprised how many comic books they have at your local public libraries.
True.
And even if they didn't, still support your local public libraries because they need our support now more than ever. So, keep an eye out for that. That's pretty much it. Thank you everybody out there for watching us. Thank you guys for being on it. Once again, I'm your host, Dimithri Perera, and this has been Comic Talk for the week of November 14th, 2024. Take care, everybody. Everybody say bye.
Goodbye.
Peace out.